empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by KOG and Company. Are your unique gifts and talents changing the world? Do you desire to belong to a community of unity? Visit KOGpassion.com to learn more about the Unleash Your Dopeness movement. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463.
Good evening. What's up, y'all? This is Kalen Laws, and welcome to G is for Gentlemen. Do me a favor, real quick. Hit minimize. Let your screen go down. Okay, and go to Instagram and follow me on also social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Senior Wapo 713. That's SENORG UAPO 713. And then we have a great show today, and I'm super excited that my brother from another style mother survived the freeze and the storm. B, what up, man?
Wagwan brethren.
What?
This is your boy Real B-Mont, REALBMONT.
Hey.
And we are excited to have another amazing episode of G is for Gents, otherwise known as G is for Gentlemen. I don't know where you live, but it is very cold here in Houston.
Man, listen,
I'm used to it because I lived, and Atlanta's not north or anything like that, but it got cold. It gets cold in Atlanta, so I actually like this weather. You actually get to wear the long coats. Like this coat I have on is pretty long, and we don't get to wear it.
Absolutely.
Probably this is my third time and probably last time being able to wear it. So I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna wear it all day. I'll probably go to sleep in it. But outside of that, man, it's a pleasure to be here, man. Glad to see you again, bro. We have another amazing show. Like, we've been really, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you guys been watching. It's been 2018 has started off with a bang, and it's going to do the same exact thing today. As a matter of fact, we're taking it to a whole nother level. Kalen, can you please introduce this amazing man that we have in the studio today that is going to enlighten somebody and give somebody something new to take home with?
Listen. Sometimes, we have the job of as media personnel, the media personalities, whether it's on this show or on my radio show. If you're here in Houston, go to 90.9 every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. to 8:30. And so you can learn about all things community and politics. But even on this platform and that platform, you have to introduce guests. And sometimes it's really, really easy, because people they're not marquee, right? They don't have this train of accomplishment. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And yes, I'm known to embellish, but listen, it's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult to introduce this guy. Okay, this guy is just told us off air. I'm quoting you, okay? I'm quoting him that he has been celebrated and recognized as one of the top 5 African-American public speakers in the country. Look, it's pretty big. You got guys like Damon. You got Damon John. You got guys like I'm Toby's mentor. I'm blanking out right now.
Eric Thomas.
Eric Thomas. These guys are world renowned. Excuse me, world renowned. And to be mentioned with that. Plus, he's a guy that used to be from Capitol Hill. Spent a lot of time on Capitol Hill. He served our country in the military. He'll never say this, but he actually is a very stylish gentleman. He'll never say this about himself, but
I don't know why he wouldn't.
I don't know, but he knows what he's doing. He knock it off.
It's that subtle.
Yeah, that subtle humility.
A hint of false humility.
Yeah, like real talk
mixed in with I got you.
Yeah. But listen, I don't want to spoil the show. I want you guys to welcome Mr. Dame Fab. D, what up, man?
Thank you.
And the crowd goes wild.
A smattering of applause.
It's a blessing to be here.
Hey man, it's a blessing to have you.
Always good to be in Houston, one of the greatest cities in the world. So, and just a blessing to be on G is for Gentlemen, speaking with two extraordinary gentlemen.
Well, Kalen does a pretty good job of finding nothing but the best hosts. Everybody that comes in and make sure that not only are we enlightening our listeners, but I leave every time we talk to somebody and I learn something new. And that's what it's about, man. I never want to be in a position where I feel like I know everything and I know too much. You know what I'm saying? Like the smartest person in the room syndrome. So I always want to learn and listen and get information from other people. So in saying that, let's allow people to understand who you are. Who is Dame Thad, man?
Well, my full name is Damian Thaddeus Jones. I think my mother and father would appreciate me just saying that. But Dame Thad is what I use for short, but I'm a Christian. I am a servant. I am a fighter. And I am the youngest of 3 boys from Jackson, Mississippi. Just a kid who wants to help move the world forward, to serve people, to help folks achieve greatness. And then we know, for me, the definition of greatness, it comes from Matthew 23:11. It says that he that is greatest among you will be your servant. And so I live my life trying to do everything I can to expand the kingdom and to help others do their best and live their best lives.
You said something very important. You said you are a Christian.
Yes.
What's the second thing you said?
Fighter or servant?
Yeah, you said
servant,
fighter.
and then the last thing you said you were a fighter.
Yes.
Tell me what you meant by that last one, that fighter.
Fighter. Hey man, one of the things I talk about when I travel this country, doing speaking engagements to our young people and to anyone is about how to overcome obstacles. We have to fight. One thing I'm disappointed about in this current generation is not the generation's fault, but it's how we've socialized and raised them. But kids get participation trophies just for showing up.
Come on, man.
Right? And I'm a competitor, and I come from a generation where we fought for everything we had and previous generations did as well. And so for me, it's telling folk to obstacles may come. They'll come every day, but the Bible says count it all joy.
Yeah.
When you fall into diverse temptations. And so we have to develop some resilience, some moxie. And so for me, I've overcome so many different things. I was telling somebody the other day, hey, I finished last in my high school class. I've been fired from 2 jobs. I finished my 9th grade year with half of a credit, but I kept fighting.
Yeah.
I knew God put me here to do something great, and so that's what I mean when I say a fighter. I'm just going to wake up every day committed to keep going, no matter what comes in my way, no matter what the devil puts before me. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep winning.
Listen, I need you guys to really understand the jewels and the gems that you're getting right now, because remember what this platform is about. Yes, this is G is for Gentlemen, and we adore, we simply are just excited to talk about style, fashion. But we're talking about gentlemanly culture, right? Style will always be the thread that weaves it all together, because you can't be a gentleman until you look the part. You have to wear the uniform, right? Mm-hmm. The Cowboys because they have a star on their helmet, right? The Redskins because they have, their logo on their helmet. And so you got to look the part. But that's just the beginning, Dame. That's just the beginning. And the things that you're going to hear today, we're going to talk about style, please believe, absolutely. But we want you guys to get some encouragement, to get some wisdom, to get some knowledge, some nuggets to chew on as you continue to go through to 2018. And so, Dame, you were talking about you a fighter, man. You were talking about how you were serving. Let the people know how you fought for this country and how you've also served this country as well in the many capacities.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk about that. I joined the U.S. Air Force in 2003, right out of high school, and served this country valiantly. Oh, wow. And it was a great time. I learned so much. Talk about the brotherhood and the relationships that you form over the years, and I still stay in touch with so many of those friends. And we were young people, but we learned how to be professionals. We learned how to be fighters. We learned how to overcome obstacles. We learned how to hold our head up high and carry ourselves in a certain way that is gentlemanly. And it's ironic that we're talking about this now. I later, went on to work on Capitol Hill in Congress. Also served this state at the Texas legislature as well, and also has worked at the Houston City Council as well. So, for me, it's always been about service. I saw my mother lead the Boy Scouts as a young kid.
Oh, wow.
I saw my father leading the usher program at our church, and so for me, it's always been about what can we do for others. One of the greatest things I learned, my first internship was at City Hall a few years ago with Clarence C.O. Bradford, Chief C.O. Bradford. And the best thing he taught me, he said, at the end of the day, Damien, when you leave this earth, I don't care what you do, what accolades you get, what awards you win, or what have you, how much money you have, how big your house is, all that doesn't matter. The question will be, when you leave this earth, what have you done to help and serve others? And so I continue to carry that, and I do all I can to help and serve the least, the last, and the lost.
Absolutely.
You know, the Bible says a man has enough inside of him to leave his children's children an inheritance. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't think it's by chance that, you know, you started out by saying, you know, you're a Christian, you're a server, and you're a fighter. And I think serving and fighting, they go hand in hand, not just with what you've been taught from the military, right, but also what you probably had to deal with and go through in your own personal experiences, your own life, and how that has shaped the sensitivity that you have towards others who necessarily probably don't know how to fight, right, that don't understand what it means to stick something out and finish. And
I'll tell you, B. And a lot of people know this about me, but man, I worked at Waffle House. When I got out of the Air Force, the only job that I could find in Jackson, Mississippi was working at Waffle House, dude. Waffle House. Wow. You know, and that was an humbling experience for me, and it made me work harder. You know, I made a pact with God. I said, God, if you get me out of here, I'll work so hard everywhere I go. I'll never complain.
Yeah, because if you can work hard at Waffle, you can work at Waffle House. You can work hard anywhere.
Oh man, but I was blessed to have that position, because there would be others who would love to be in that position. But I knew I wanted to do more. But God, you know, my mom tells me all the time that God gives us a pop quiz here and there, a pop quiz here, a pop quiz there, to prepare us.
See if you're ready
for the final exam.
Right.
And so we have to get ready. We have to face the obstacles. You know. But here's the thing about that fighting, and I'm glad y'all stayed on that. Like, we have to encourage others. You know, listen, look, given what's happening in this country, and I'm not gonna get political on y'all, but
you can.
Given the bigotry, given the hatred, given the vitriol that we're hearing, our rhetoric is in the dumpster in this country. Black and brown folk are being marginalized and pushed against the margin. Their validity, their intellect is being questioned across the board. Given all those things, folk need to hear positivity. And we've got to speak life into our brothers and sisters. You know, folk are hurting. Folk are trying to make ends meet and put food on the table. And so it is incumbent upon us, who are gentlemen, who are Christians, who are leaders, to make sure we're saying a word. You would be surprised what a smile could do for just some stranger that you see, you know, or just to say, hey, how are you? Or just say thank you, and those types of things. That does wonders for people. So in terms of helping folk fight, helping to serve people, the tongue is so powerful. And so we have to be very, very careful with our platform and make sure we're giving folks encouraging words at all times.
You know, I read really one of the powerful book, really favorite book of mine. It's called the Bible.
Okay. I need to get that.
Yeah, you might want to check that joint out, man. 66 phenomenal books.
I've heard of that.
You hear me?
I've heard of that.
Little small little books within the books, and it says that, you know, life and death is in the power of the tongue, right? And that's so true. We can speak life to, and we can speak death. The key is knowing what to speak death to, and knowing to speak what to speak life to, right? And here again, we want to speak life to all things gentlemanly. So I pose to you, Dame, what is a gentleman to you?
Beautiful question. A gentleman, first of all, is a young man who has manners. Yeah. As we talked about, you know, just saying please and thank you. Mm-hmm. You know, to me, it's only second nature to always say please and thank you. Somebody, and you talked about the podcast that I have. My podcast you can find on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and so forth. Thank you for your leadership. Because as a leader, it's so important to give confidence and encouragement to your team. And so I would always tell my team, thank you for your leadership, if it was the smallest task. So for me, being a gentleman is just saying thank you. just saying please in every situation.
You know, that's absolutely a dope thing to say.
I see what you did there.
You know what I'm saying? No, seriously, it's a really dope thing to say. And it's very ironic that you said so much dopeness, because this portion of the show is sponsored by a dope company called KOG and Company.
Segue.
Right. Are your unique gifts and talents changing the world? Unleash Your Dopeness is a people empowerment movement built to encourage the masses to operate outside of their fears and have the gall to recklessly pursue their dreams and passions in life. Join thousands of others as we unlock the greatness that dwells inside. Shop dope gear at KOGpassion.com. That's KOGpassion.com. And use your coupon code DOPE with an exclamation mark for 10% off of exclusive Unleash Your Dopeness apparel. Please act now. Sizes selling out fast.
So Kaylin, first of all, I want to do a challenge. I want us to see that, because you did pretty good. You didn't
That was
fumble.
good.
You didn't fumble.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So I want us to have a competition to see who can read their ads the best today.
Okay. Well,
So, you started out pretty strong though.
Okay.
You started out
First quarter was all right.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
cool.
actually set the bar. Pretty high.
Let's do it.
You set the bar. Pretty.
Back
I don't know
to
if I'm
you.
going to bring Casey Kasem out. but-
Oh my God! Please leave him there. No, you, like last week, bring out Sammy Davis. Shaboing. So, but talking about manners, man, what else? Give me two more things that you think is incumbent that a gentleman must either possess and or have.
I mean, we know the easy one, but I'll say that one last. I think one that's important nowadays is a gentleman treats a lady like a lady.
Come on, man. Like what does that mean, though?
And I have real issues with men who refer to women with the B word.
Uh-oh.
I have issues with it, and it's become very prevalent in our society. Even women call themselves each
Hip-hop
other,
culture,
and it's a term of endearment. I have real issues with it, and again, speaking life, encouragement, and so there's power in the tongue, and so I'm a firm believer that a gentleman never calls a woman out of her name. My mom always told me never say anything to a woman that you wouldn't say to me. So I carry that. So a gentleman never says the B word to anybody, especially not the mother of his children, his wife, his girlfriend, his sister, anybody. So that's one thing. But again, the last thing I would say, a gentleman dresses the part.
Yeah, he does.
As Primetime Dion says, you look good, play good.
Play good, baby.
And so it's just so important to look the part. It does so much for your confidence. My philosophy is, in those early days when I was struggling a little bit, I would always just invest in my clothing, because if I was broke, you wouldn't tell.
You wouldn't go know it,
right?
Just think it till you make it,
right? And if anything, if I had to go to a job interview, I needed to make sure I looked the part so I can get this money.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean, a gentleman dresses the part. A gentleman never talks to a woman any kind of way, and a gentleman says please and thank you.
So you mentioned before you when you got out of the military, you were in Jackson, Mississippi,
My hometown.
Then you came here to Houston.
Yes, sir.
Then you went to DC.
Yes, sir.
And then in the military, you did some traveling as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, as a man who is well traveled, how has traveling impacted you as a gentleman?
Perspective.
That's great.
Perspective. I mean, just domestic traveling. Like, I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, and I was stationed in Phoenix, Arizona. So to go from Jackson, Mississippi to Phoenix to the west side, as an 18-year-old, it really expanded my thought process and my perspective on life and the world. I mean, for me, at that time, it was just, in Mississippi, I just saw black and white.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to Phoenix, it was black, white, brown,
Everything.
red, everything. And I met people from all walks of life. Who've had various experiences in life, and I had a great time. It was great traveling, but I think we have to expose ourselves to different corners of the earth, to understand different cultures, to try different foods. For a while, like I didn't eat like calamari.
Yeah.
I was like, calamari. I'm not eating
Ain't no squid.
yeah,
Right.
I'm not eating this foolishness. And then my girlfriend, she said, "Babe, just eat it." And she put like this little bourbon sauce on it, and I ate it. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I like calamari now. Let's do it." I mean, and I started eating venison. For a while, like
I grew up in the South, so that's
right.
That's all they do.
You can listen. Coming when I moved to Texas, I didn't know what brisket was,
right?
Man. And now I can't go without it. I'm in D.C. I was like, man, y'all got brisket. What's brisket? I said, oh man, y'all need to get it together.
Tripping.
So yeah, right. So yeah, traveling has been amazing. But again, we have to broaden our horizons to understand the lifestyle and perspectives of others, which makes us well rounded and makes us better gentlemen.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. A lot of times. It's crazy that you said that because I remember when Facebook first came out.
Okay.
And I grew up in Dothan, Alabama, and so. Had it not been for social media, that's how if you don't have the means to travel, that's where you see a lot of stuff at. Especially if you got friends that move to different cities and stuff. So it was crazy just being able to see that from a social media standpoint of what's going on around the world outside of what was going on in my own town. So that's crazy.
You said something, B, and you said had it not been for social media, and had it not been for social media, especially Facebook Live,
my God,
we a lot of what we say wouldn't come out. So we want to talk to our Facebook Live folks, and we ask that you subscribe to our show on all the major platforms, including, listen now, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. Now review our show in iTunes with constructive feedback. Be nice. Mm-hmm. Share this Facebook Live post and the entire show with your family and your friends, and donate. Again, donate. Third time for the Holy Ghost. Donate to our mission to bring enriched and inspiring content each and every week. You can donate at www.thesphere.tv/donate. We want to look at Dawn Johnson and Laurinette Lewis. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Allison, what's up? My mom, thank you. The world is a book. You're absolutely right. And that's what you're talking about. The world is a book. We got to go, Facebook, and we appreciate you guys. Make sure you go to the website, subscribe, so you can check out the rest of the show. Dame, but it's been so amazing watching you grow, because what you're talking about is growth, right. Growing as a gentleman, understanding life, seeing new perspectives, tasting new foods, traveling all around the world, listening to certain music, and you mentioned your podcast, right? Yeah. Thank you for your leadership, and I'm telling you, it's a dope program, dope platform. I check it out. I'm subscribed to it. I check it out.
Thank you.
all the time, and I'm too behind and just so busy.
Hey, take your time.
Yeah, but thankfully, they're archived. We can go get them joints. Right?
I'm just blessed that we have listeners, man.
And so one word up. And so one thing that's been that I love that you do is that you incorporate music with leadership.
Yeah.
Right. You're a music head.
Right.
Pure and simple. You're from the South. You're about 3.5 hours of where the home of the blues was. Memphis, Jackson, Mississippi, which is just south of Memphis, Tennessee, home of the blues.
And where's the home of the blues again?
Memphis, Tennessee, baby. And so
Memphis 10.
Memphis 10, you know what I'm saying?
Orange
Put
man.
your thumbs up. North.
Yeah, right. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Stacks Records.
Next week we'll have Project Pat on the show.
Come on.
Right.
Spitting on some. No, anyway.
Get it green.
Right, get it.
Right.
Oh, wow. So we talking this music. We talk. He from the South, baby.
What's up, man?
What's up, man? Listen, man. Don't get me started, man. I'm telling you, man.
Right, come on.
And so you're a music
Marquise
head.
Robinson.
So tell me, as a gentleman, what's heavy in your rotation right now?
Gosh, great question. First and foremost, I'm a Jay-Z fan.
Come on. You notice the sweet number?
What, 444?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's on purpose.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so Hove is my role model in a sense.
Word up.
I've been following that cat since 1999. That was the first album I bought. Was Volume 3. Well, my brother gave it to me. So I've been listening to 444. I mean, that stuff is timeless for me. When you talk about growth, there's so much growth in that album. We created a panel series, a panel discussion series in D.C. called Cloth Talk. In the first installment, we broke down the social layers in Jay-Z's 444 album, the misogyny, the being homophobic, the generational wealth, and all those different things. So I'm heavy on Hove. I do a lot of Rick Ross. I'm big Rick Ross. That Santorini Grease track is crazy. What's the other one on the latest album? The Game Ain't Based on Sympathy.
Yeah.
I love those. But you know what? But I'm also then I switch it up. and I listen to a little Frank Sinatra.
Hey,
My Way.
that every time I take my daughter, I didn't want to sound weird, but like bath time or whatever, I always put on like some Frank Sinatra or some Miles Davis.
Yeah,
or
something classic.
Like that.
Yeah.
Just so I can get it in her memory right now. So
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, introduce him to it.
Yeah.
And we do a little Vashawn Mitchell.
Come on,
as well. So we always gotta give honor to God as well. I take it back to the South. I do a little John P. Key as well, and but not particularly music. But then, I spend a lot of time just watching sermons. I listen to a lot of sermons. Out of Memphis, Frank Ray. Taylor's Chapman, watching some of the old cats, Jasper Williams.
Hey, the old cats to give you wisdom.
Yeah, right. Ralph Douglas West here. Lot of cats I sit and spend time with that. So I'm always trying to grow, trying to get some wisdom. But music is a soundtrack of life with little Stevie Wonder in there as well. I go on and on.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
A lot of class. I personally, I'm 33. I blessed to just made 33 the other day. Capricorns rule the world. But
right after Aquarius. Go ahead.
You're right. And I don't get much into the current rap. They call mumble rap now. I can't embrace it as much. But I still love some Jeezy. I got to take it back sometimes to the recession. Thug Motivation 101. So I'm from the South, so we did a little David Banner. Little Outkast,
come on, Dungeon Family.
Come on, DF.
I love a heavy.
We can end the show, ladies and gentlemen.
But there's also, I love John Mayer. John Mayer is one of my.
Come on, man.
Too. John Mayer, bro. You put an acoustic guitar out, bro, and you can do some things.
John Mayer was a player,
right? And he'll tell you. He'll tell you the music. And then lastly, Al Green.
Where's he from?
Where is he from? I don't know.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Is it Memphis? Okay.
Actually, by way of Dothan, Alabama.
Knock it off.
Really?
Okay.
No,
he's
not.
Up.
So one of my closest homeboy, his dad introduced me to Al, and he said the worst thing you can do when you're chilling with a young lady as a gentleman, he said, turn on Al and don't say a word. Shut up, because Al gonna do the talking for you. The worst thing you can do is talk while Al talks.
Hey, what you think about this song? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And just let Al go. And y'all gonna have a good night. And let Al just penetrate the ears, man. It's just beautiful. So those are the things I'm listening to.
Baby, I'm playing Al tonight. You hear me? All right. Again, man, I love you talked about diversity. I love you talked about because what we're talking about is being well-rounded, right? Travel, music, right? Understanding politics and what's going on in the community,
right?
But again, this is also a menswear show,
yes.
And I love the DB you got on, the double-breasted that you have on with the very nice contrasting pocket square.
I said 2018 is gonna be my DB year.
Yeah, you're gonna be a DB year.
I bought 3 this year.
Listen, because the one you wore. The blue one that you just posted on the gram, I forget. Was it it was something you went to?
It was blue. It was a New Year's party.
It was New Year.
Okay. Yeah.
Very nice.
I said I want to bring it in. New Year, new standards, man.
Yeah, New Year, new standards.
Yeah.
Love it. So tell us, give me 3 menswear items you just can't live without. Obviously, it's a DB right now, double breasted.
Double breast. But I had to switch it up because when I'm moving in some of those political spaces, I don't want to be too jazzy.
Yeah.
So I had to tone it down when I was working with Commissioner Rodney Ellis. He told me stop dressing like a Mississippi pimp. So
Mississippi pimp.
Yeah, I would have like orange socks, crazy stuff. He was like, man, no,
right.
Black shoes, brown shoes, blue suit, gray suit. Keep it simple. But I think your sock game is important. I might be normal right now. What you got? No, I'm normal. I just got blue. On. Normal. No.
You know what I'm saying? You got
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
some hosiery.
You probably ain't wearing socks.
No, I just got on some.
Okay, yeah.
Kaylin actually has on pantyhose. But go ahead.
Okay, right. So I think you're
not a noob. Okay.
Your sock, your sock game has to be on point. I think it's a mode of expression because sometimes you can't do a lot up top. But if you can do it,
and it's subtle. You sit down and your pant leg rises. Somebody look,
just a little bit.
And it's subtle.
Right, it's subtle.
Sorry.
Depending on what your break looks like. I like no break so you can see it a little bit.
So do I.
So socks. For me, I have this thing. I gotta have something on my wrist. So for me, it's bracelets. So I go to H&M. God forbid. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah, Kaylin,
be careful.
Stays with some wristwear.
Right, so I got to do wristwear, a little bracelet, and what else? A P-square. You got to do a P-square. I mean, I think that's just simple. I mean, some people do the lapel pin, some people don't. But I think just at a basic level, get you some good socks, get you a P square, put a little something on your wrist, if not a watch.
That's actually some good.
I'm gonna tell you what I've never told you this. What I've always seen you do really well in, and you're very versatile with them, is your eyewear.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Thank you.
You're very very versatile with your eyewear. He always got some dope parasols. Really? Yeah, always got
something different.
Yeah, dope. He dope parasols or just.
See, I'm blind, so I can't do that many things with my eyewear. I gotta stick with.
I'm blind too.
I can't get that many pieces that thick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yours look good though.
Yours look
good. Word up, man. Okay, so last, and we kind of talked about some of these. So just give us 2 experiences that you believe all gentlemen should have before we hang our suit up.
Just any type of experience.
Yeah, whatever it is.
In life.
Like in life. Like 2 experiences. Don't even. I know this guy.
That's a good question.
Yeah, 2 experiences that because we talked about traveling. So I would imagine that traveling, you need to see this world. Like it's only one Earth, right, that we know of. And so, but what else? Give me 2 more.
Gosh, man, that's.
I know I made it hard because it's 2.
Well, I saw that question earlier, and I was thinking. I think one thing, and maybe it's not an experience, but I think this is a skill. Mm-hmm. I think every man should learn how to tie a bow tie.
Yeah,
tie it, not pre-tied.
Yeah.
Tie.
I'm not a fan of pre-tie at all.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't wear a bow tie.
I used to be real heavy in the bow ties. Like I used to every week, at church, I would wear a
you
bow
knew.
tie.
I thought that's all y'all wore.
Nah, man, we
was
switched it up every now and then. But at one point in time in my life in Atlanta, Georgia, I was wearing bow ties heavy. So I was tying them things every week. Now, if you ask me right now on the show how to tie one, I could get through it, but it would be a struggle
because it's been a minute. Yeah,
it's been a minute.
Yeah. I don't wear.
Great. That's really.
I don't wear my. But no, I think it's important for us to teach our young men how to do it. I mean, in addition to ties, be versatile, do both. Because when you throw a bow tie on, you really trying to be dapper.
You don't know what you don't know. So
you know what I mean. So I think that's important.
That's good.
Nobody taught me. That kind of
craftsmanship is with the bow tie.
So bow tie and. I don't know. Come back to me. Let me
yeah.
What would you say? 2 things before you hang the suit up.
So before we hang the suit up, man, I think that it's one of those things. Travel is big for me, and I keep talking about it. It's big for me because B, you just said it. You don't know what you don't know. Right. So it's important to learn all that you can. I mean, again, that book that I was telling you guys about says, "In all that get an understanding," right? And so, but you got to go get an understanding. You got to go. You got to be proactive. So I think traveling is super big. Lastly, I think another one for me probably would take up some sort of art or skill that you don't know.
Right.
Some sort of art or some sort of skill, right? It could be a trade, God forbid this whole technological thing that we got going on, something go crazy. But if you know how to be, carpentry, or if you know welding or things, something like that,
that's good.
You'll be okay.
And what that represents is you starting something new in your life. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to sticking to the status quo.
Right.
As a matter of fact, this portion of the show is sponsored by The Sphere.
Hey,
are you starting a business and looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell a product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. The Sphere does a lot of different things
like
for
what?
A lot of different needs. For instance, we offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, like what I did there, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher, not to mention YouTube as well. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Now, our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every single time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789. Once again, 832-772-7789. Or you can send us an email over at advertise@thesphere.tv.
And one of the places, if I would talk about I think everyone should travel. It's this little small town.
Yeah, I got one.
Cut out of limestone. in Spain called Ronda. That's how Ronda, Spain. It's in Costa del Sol, in the southern coast of Spain, or the sun coast rather.
I've been there.
Awesome
In my mind.
In your mind, and it's, I mean, the entire village
Right.
is carved out of limestone. There are no filters on the water.
What's it called again?
Ronda, Ronda.
Wow.
It's beautiful. It's just north of a town called Malaga, which is 2 hours south of Madrid. I mean, gorgeous. Best coffee in the country. Wonderful wonderful
been?
tapas. Yeah, been there. That's what
great.
we honeymoon right outside of there. Spent 10 days out there. Beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful.
So here's two things.
Okay,
to
talk to me.
the experience point. Had to think about it for a second. I think everybody at some point should go to New York. I think that's a great experience.
And actually experience it as opposed to
Yeah,
or a
no,
business
seriously, no.
trip or
I
something
went.
like that.
I went to New York for the first time in my life for Memorial Day.
Okay.
Last year, yeah, Memorial Day, and it was a great experience. I went with my boys, and like we talk about fighting and moxie and resilience. Like I see now why so many people
lot of them have that.
come out of New York with such a very resilient attitude, and they just reach high heights because, dude, if you, like Frank Sinatra said, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Like, that is a tough city.
It's a tough town, yeah.
I mean, the people are everywhere, and it's kind of like you see people selling hot dogs, you see people selling these different services. We walk through Harlem, we got cats on the blocks trying to get it. They selling you books. Hey, black man, you beautiful. Come talk to me, black man.
You get off the train at 125th. They doing hair in the train station.
In that city, bro, you gotta figure it out early. Ain't no time to play. Like you really gotta figure it out. So I really appreciate like the fight and the fire that they all have. And they got time for no BS there in New York, man. Everybody's like, "What's up, bro? Let's get it." So that's one thing. Another experience I think everybody should experience, and I know you both have already experienced this, but this is a fear that people have. I think everybody should give a speech at some point in their life.
That's
public speaking.
That's interesting.
But I mean, I think it's about overcoming fear. I mean, we've been talking biblically here for a second, and please. I learned Frank Ray taught me that in the Bible, fear not is in the Bible 365 times. 365 times. That means for every day of the year, it's fear not. So you ought to wake up with no fear and ready to expand the kingdom and ready to be great. But people should really overcome their public speaking fear. I mean, people fear sharks, people fear spiders, but public speaking is a way to express ourselves, right? But it's just so hard for us to stand before our peers and to express ourselves and to be vulnerable and to talk about our life, if you will, or subject matter or what have you. But if people knew how therapeutic that was. If people understood the financial resources that comes from just opening your mouth and speaking, and also like we talked about the power of the tongue, speaking life into people, and you can turn your mess, if you will, into a message by opening your mouth and blessing somebody. So, but I think it's something that people should overcome. People don't really give themselves as much credit. There are people who are brilliant public speakers if they give themselves the opportunity. I was one of those people, and through the black church, through a tough mama, through Easter speeches, that gift was kind of honed. But I think people should go to New York, and I think people should give a speech.
I love those answers.
I like that, especially the public speaking, because I mean, I was always a talker in school. Like, I was the guy that got in trouble for talking too much or this or that. But people don't understand that those guys, they got something to say too. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. And I tell my students all the time, I said, man, every single one of us has something specific inside of us that we're supposed to do something with that's going to reach somebody specific.
Yep.
That you can't reach, or you can't reach, and I can't reach, but that person can reach them. And if we keep that to ourselves and we're not willing or we're scared to come to the forefront and speak what's on our mind,
because we're gonna bless somebody. We're being selfish by holding in what's inside of us to share with somebody, and we can be blessing somebody and changing somebody's life. I love when I hear preachers, pastors, ministers say, "I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but I need to say this." And it'll reach one person. You may be in a crowd of 500, but if it reaches one person, then your words have not been in vain.
But the crazy thing is, it usually reaches the majority of the people that are listening to you at that time.
Right. You know what I'm saying? There again, we keep going back, but I love it, man. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? And so we look at that at that piece of wisdom in that scripture, saying that if you have bad abundantly in your heart, you're gonna talk bad. That's kind of the narrative that's given behind it. But You talked about the students in classes that are loquacious.
Spell it.
I don't feel like it. I will. So, but in all seriousness, there's an abundance inside of us that needs to be shared with other people, right? Out of the abundance. And so if you have an abundance of joy, an abundance of love, an abundance of encouragement, an abundance of whatever it is that you have, go ahead and share that joint, man.
Share it.
Share that joint,
Can't
man.
take it to the grave.
You can't. Come on, Ecclesiastes. And so, but what else has been shared? And let's talk a little bit of style real quick. What else has been shared is that there's this really this prominent fashion week in Italy called Pitti Uomo, right? And Pitti Uomo, outside of Pitti Uomo, comes kind of the trends for menswear, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
if you've ever seen anything from there on
From Pitti,
Instagram or any social media, you get where a lot of the, like you said, that's so true. And it's so phenomenal to see the pictures and the things that guys are posting, because it's the best of the best.
It's the best of the best.
It's
best
the
of
best,
like the streetwear.
The boy's over there right now. Where he was over there. He was over last week or
Who's
week. Antar LeVar.
Yeah, Antar. Yeah.
He was over there.
But I'm saying, and so Pitti Uomo, it's kind of a. I think this was the 93rd showing this year of Pitti Uomo. And so one of the most iconic American brands, actually the longest and oldest apparel brand.
If you don't know this brand,
Brooks Brothers showed. Okay, they celebrated their 200-year anniversary by hosting its first, in 200 years, this is the first ever runway show at Pitti Immagine Uomo in 33 in Florence on Wednesday, January 10th, just last week, right? It was held at this famous cathedral, this famous hall called Salon de Sequento at Palazzo Vecchio, right? The runway was designed in the signature colors that have always distinguished the brand, navy blue and gold. That's all. So that's where the navy blue and gold. A lot of folks say that on the American front, the reason why navy became the premier business color was because of Brooks Brothers.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was their signature. That's been their signature, the navy blue, and it was the bow ties, and it was the belts, and the lining for the jackets. Okay. And so the show was a deliberately modern interpretation, right, of Brooks Brothers' iconic style, celebrating the disruptor. The disruptor's kind of that hipster kind of guy. Okay. Youthful and cool, but with many classic elements, right? And so I think it was just really dope to talk about that, because I'm one that in terms of American designers, my favorite designer and brand is Ralph Lauren, and everybody is always, all of our listeners and viewers have heard me say that, but
I don't. People agree too.
Yeah, but I don't give enough credit to Brooks Brothers, because they're the oldest and they kill it. And Brooks Brothers is on both sides of the aisle, just like Ralph Lauren is as well. But they've been doing it for 200 years and killing the game.
But I feel like the reason why they don't give them the credit is because it's one of those brands that is just going to be there.
Yeah,
they're not going
Brooks
anywhere. Yeah. You can go to any major galleria in the country and pretty much see a Brooks Brothers store, and it's just one of those staple brands that you like I said, know they're going to be there. And
it's so iconic that the Italian Philharmonic gave the soundtrack and the score to this show.
Wow.
Yeah, 53 members of the Italian Philharmonic. But guess what song they gave a nod to and they played?
What's that?
Empire State of Mind.
What?
As you were talking about New York,
Empire State of Mind.
Come on, man.
Right, giving a nod to the lineage, because Brooks Brothers was founded in New York.
Yeah.
So just kind of giving that nod, man. It's
That's
dope.
Beautiful.
It's dope, that's a wonderful collaboration that you just really wouldn't expect, right? American and Italian, just really, and then hip hop is so transformative. We got to do a show on hip hop and hip hop style. B, it's so transformative. But I love that collaboration. Right, and another collaboration, B.
Talk about this one. I want to hear this.
Another collaboration has been Balenciaga, right? Balenciaga and Mr. Porter have the online retailer have released a special collaboration with Paris-based Maison Balenciaga on Monday, January 22nd. So Mr. Porter has become kind of the Walmart to high men's fashion.
Okay,
right? High fashion menswear, rather. I'm sorry. And so they've had everybody on it. Every high fashion brand you can think of has been found on Mr. Porter. But this is Balenciaga's first time, right? Okay. And they've collaborated on a dual men's and women's exclusive collection with the retail partner under the creative director of I think her name is Dimna. Dimna G. Dimna G. I can't pronounce her last name. But they're gonna have ready to wear bags. They're going to have jewelry. They're going to have accessories on a limited edition. It's going to be 34 pieces. The Mr. Porter selection, right, on the men's website will be 34 pieces. So it's going to be a small collection, but it's going to focus on outerwear and sweaters.
Okay.
Many of these ready-to-wear pieces are embroidered with the new and already iconic BB Mode logo, right? And Mr. Porter would also launch an exclusive version of the Triple S sneaker in green. So I'm excited to see this Balenciaga thing, because listen, Balenciaga has been killing the game for a long,
I see.
long time. So that B with the backwards B is their signature logo. B, every time I see that logo, I just get happy and I smile.
Well, people kind of get intimidated by being Balenciaga, the name alone, because they feel like, man, I don't know if I can afford that.
Look at the price.
I see, they look at the price. You know what? I think we may have something for that.
Okay.
What's the remedy, bro?
This portion of the show
Solutions
is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now, did you know that only 4 states in the United States offer financial education? That is 33%, or more than 77 million Americans don't pay their bills on time. 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month. And 39% of adults said they don't have enough savings. Ladies and gentlemen, don't become one of these statistics. Let Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on your increasing cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling a complimentary financial strategy today. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance at 1-844-700-4463, or you can email them at info@HoustonHousewivesOfFinance. Ask how you can participate in a complimentary financial literacy workshop near you.
B, you know who else has their finances on point?
I wasn't done. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services.
My bad.
You may speak.
But thank you, sir. But you know who else has their finances on point, B?
Your boy Diddy.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of Empire State of Mind and Mr. Diddy runs the city,
Yeah.
your boy Diddy not only has his finances on point, he has his finances on point so much so that he is trying to give away some of those finances.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell us about that.
Yeah, well, he has plans to donate $200,000 to the Unforgettable Healthcare Campaign, which is expanding and improving the Subi Hope Health Center in Uganda, right? Really, really important. This initiative was actually started by French Montana. We keep talking about hip-hop, and look what hip-hop is doing, right? French Montana, in partnership with the nonprofit Mama Hope and Global Citizen, after he filmed the video for his his hit Unforgettable. You remember the video? Yeah. In Kampala. And so Diddy's donation follows the contributions from both French Montana and The Weeknd. Both of these cats dropped $100,000, right? A piece. So this $400,000 will go towards building out the maternal health care facilities, because we know that the mortality rate, the birth, the I can't think what it's called, the specific term, but the number of deaths per child is in Africa is higher than any other continent in this country because of lack of health care.
Right.
And so Diddy and French Montana and The Weeknd they're putting their money where their mouth is, because in Africa, I don't know, and you know this from experience, but in Africa the dollar can go so far. Considering what to $400,000 will just really put a dent into so much regarding healthcare.
Bless some lives, man.
Yeah. When in terms of prenatal care, in terms of postnatal care, labor, the whole nine. And so shout out to Diddy. He actually was quoted saying, "It's important to give back. It's important to be an agent of change." It's important to give back. It's important to be an agent of change, and that's exactly what you've been talking about.
I was just talking to a colleague earlier about sometimes we demonize folk who have a great level of financial resources.
Yeah.
We demonize rich people, but and I tell people all the time, and I'm unabashed about it. Hey, I want to be filthy rich.
Listen,
right, and it's not for selfish reasons. I want to help other people with it. The
more you have, the more you can give.
The more you have, the more you can bless folk. So I mean, these riches won't be for me. They'll be for others, for those in Uganda and in other places, for those suffering right here, the homeless in Houston, for those in LA, for those in Jackson, Mississippi, or those in Alabama. I want to develop those resources to help other people get health care and clean water and air and those types of things.
Here's the thing. As sure as we're sitting here, I know for a fact that God will enlarge our territory as it relates to the finances, all three of us.
Absolutely.
You're here.
But there's a number of things that Kaylin, myself, and I'm sure you have been through, right? So for anybody out there that's going through something that's financially tough or just like, when am I going to get over this season? I know for a fact God spoke to me and he said, how can you commission others to move forward and beyond from a place of comfort? Like seriously, I know for a fact that we will be whatever it is that God intended for us to be and put in our hearts and set before us to do. Every single one of us. It's not by chance that all three of us are sitting here. And it's not by chance that all three of us have gone through the specific struggles that we have.
The fire.
But in saying all that, it's going to be a lot easier to have a heart for those who are struggling because we know what struggle looks like.
We can relate. Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We can relate on so many different levels of what it looks like to really want or wish we were in a certain place, but just it's not that time yet, and we just got to keep grinding, keep working, keep focusing on what God has set before us at that time, so that in the appointed time when God does bring it into fruition for what he had called since the beginning of time, then it's a lot easier for us to understand and recognize how to allocate those resources, because we know what that struggle feels like personally.
Absolutely.
A lot of people that have money, they don't personally know what that struggle looks like. That's why they only cater to a certain demographic of people,
right.
because they can't really understand or because of the experiences that they haven't had.
Right. You know, we're talking about investment, right? Really investing in yourselves, investing in your community, investing in your children, investing in the folks that you love, even investing in people that hate on you, because at the end of the day, if you're community members, and we can bring you back on a different conversation about that.
Those are admirers. They
Absolutely.
admire you know. What was it Drake said? Love, jealousy is just love and hate at the same time.
At the same time.
Right,
That's it. Just warring with each other. But there's another level of investment, especially in this season, specifically or literally rather, and figuratively, in this cold weather season, right? There's some investments that we can make. And I think I think it's imperative. We just Houston. We've dealt with this the second time it has snowed since I've been in Houston. I've been in Houston.
Seriously, this is the second time.
It didn't really snow yesterday.
Did it snow? I didn't see no snow.
But 2 weeks ago it did snow.
Okay.
It did. Well, not 2 weeks ago, about a month and a half ago, it snowed, and we had about 2 inches in for Houston.
And you've been in Houston how long?
Almost 18 years.
Really?
Yeah. The first time it snowed was 2009.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is only the second time.
It doesn't snow here, brother. It doesn't snow, and we don't get sub-zero temperatures. We don't get all of those
it's
things.
like 20 degrees, bro.
Yeah. Not sub-zero, but below freezing.
20 degrees is sub-zero.
Yeah, here for Houston, if it's Houstonians, it is what it is. It just doesn't happen. 40 is cold for Houstonians. You know what I'm saying? And so there are some cold weather investments that I think that are important that every gentleman have. Right? Obviously, you want a coat and hat skirt, but there are certain things that I think that are really, really key. And one of these things is what's called a cable turtleneck. Okay.
Now explain cable, because I know what turtleneck is, but explain.
So
cable
the cable turtleneck, and we have an image going to come up for those who are watching here in a second. The cable turtleneck is something that's it's the thicker bands on it, right?
Love it. I love it.
And so it's woven together instead of milled together, right? So they're the heavy. So when you think about the heavy, pretty much the heavy turtlenecks.
Okay.
Those are the cable ones, right? You're not going to wear them all the time, especially in climates like ours. So it's not going to get worn out as much, right? You just keep it hung up. You put it up in the attic, right? Or you put it in your trunks or whatever, because you're not going to pull it out too often.
That's a great suggestion.
Another one, and this one is really not going to be used a lot here, but it's a shearling coat.
Hey, maybe you can add that to those experiences that every guy should have when he hangs his suit
turtleneck.
up.
Yeah,
wearing a turtleneck with a suit.
Absolutely,
man, that's so fresh.
It's classic, son.
I love it.
Put that on the list.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure. Agreed. I will. That's number 3. Originally I said 5, so that's 3. Maybe you'll get 2 more before we get up out of here. But a shearling coat. Now, what a shearling coat is, I used to, when I was a kid, for those who were looking, the shearling coat is the it looks like wool on the inside. I used to call it the oatmeal.
Okay.
It looked like oatmeal on the inside of the collar. And what it is, that's called shearling. Because
my man has that exact coat.
Yeah. So there are a number, and I think there's another, Terry, I think there's another picture now, if you could show, of a shearling coat. It doesn't have to be as elaborate, but it's just wool, right? And remember, wool is the fabric, or it's the textile that holds the most heat.
But why that coat?
Well, number one, because it's outside of down feathers, goose feathers, it's the warmest that you can have.
Okay.
Number one, but number two is so stylish and so classic.
That's fresh.
Because all you would have to do, like that black thing right there, all you would have to do is just wear something simple up
That's
under
it.
Yeah.
I
Sweating after
I saw
that.
that right there. I
Anything
was just thinking black t-shirt.
Yeah, black tee or white t-shirt, some denim and some boots, and you
good.
killing them, right?
Right.
But what you can pair with a shearling coat are lined gloves.
Okay.
Lined gloves. They can be wool, it can be cashmere, or it can be cotton. But don't just wear the lined leather gloves. Let me say it like that: lined leather gloves.
Okay.
Because like.
It was a great tips.
Yeah, because a lot of guys wear Dame the gloves, right? When it's super cold, but they get the ski gloves. Now listen to the name. The name is a ski glove, so that means you wear it when you do what?
Skiing.
You're skiing, B. Right? So like I know they're the warmest kind, but they don't fit a shearling coat. They don't fit a top coat.
Yeah,
it doesn't work with the aesthetic, right? So get you. You're gonna pay a little more, but get you a leather lined, lined jacket, a pair of gloves.
Yeah, and the last one is one of my favorites that you can do with almost anything, and depending on the texture of this, what we're about to say, this garment, you could wear it year round, and we're talking about hoodies. Yeah, hoodies are a great way to accessorize whatever you already have on, whether it's a jean jacket.
You've done a great job with that today.
I appreciate that. Whether it's one of the a thicker jacket like Kaylin was talking about, hoodies just make it look a little bit better. Also, even if it's not that cold, you could still do a hoodie with a jean jacket vest.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
But you do them with suits.
You can do them with suits.
You do it with a blazer.
A hoodie?
Yeah.
Check it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hoodies.
Wow.
If you do it right,
it is the
hoodies will go with almost everything you can wear.
It is the
Wow,
forgotten piece of menswear. It is for the fall and the.
I'm learning a lot today, fellas.
It is the forgotten piece of menswear when it comes to the fall and winter, in cold weather, because you throw a suit on, you throw a nice thin hoodie on with a great Oxford or a poplin shirt, a button-down shirt, and it's phenomenal. It looks amazing.
And speaking of different hoodies, it's great to bring up this next point. Kaylin, you brought up, we're going to talk about very briefly the art of shading. Because you could have on a specific suit, you could have on a specific jean jacket or specific pants and stuff like that. But the shading that you do with it, makes a big difference.
So there is this one term called color blocking, and a lot of people do color blocking. That means your pants are one color, your shirt is one color, and your shoes are one color. They're different blocks, right? And they all kind of coordinate and go together. Like when you think about color blocking, you think about a very common set of colors. The color block is red, white, and blue because it's on the flag, so everybody sees it. People don't have to guess that it goes together. So it's easy to color block. You can also do what's called monochrome, which is one color. Mono meaning one, chrome indicating color, right? But there's this thing called shading, right? And it's a great way to show versatility in your style choices. And that's to play with different shades of colors: greens, blues, browns, tans, what have you.
I do that a lot.
Yeah,
I don't want to be the guy that matches
everything.
Simply define it's just wearing different shades of one color. And this is especially helpful when it comes to menswear. And traditionally there's not a lot of variants of colors in menswear, right? We have blue, we have like you'll see every color in some sort of piece, but you see way more blue, black, charcoal, and gray in menswear, right? Because those have been traditionally the colors that are espoused to what men should wear. So wearing this in different shades are critical to keeping it fresh. Right. Okay. Absolutely. And so number one, the colors must still be complementary, but contrasting. Yeah. Right. So B, you're doing it right now. People really can't see on camera, but you have this kind of seafoam sweater on with a lighter blue. Here you go, with a lighter blue top coat on, right? And so the colors must be they have to be the same, so to speak, but contrasting. I think we have an image on that one, and so because I want you guys to really see, those of you who are watching, I want you guys to see what I mean when I say must be complementary or contrasting. Again, shading is the same type of color. See, she has like 4 different greens on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's 4 different greens on. That's shading.
And back in the day, we would have never done that. We'd have been like, "What is he doing?"
But he's doing it intelligently because he's breaking it up.
But you know what I've learned over the years, that if you have confidence in what you're wearing,
Exactly.
man, you can throw anything together.
That's the number one
But
thing to wear.
my two rules have been, as long as I got a haircut, and I can throw anything. As long as it fits well,
Yep.
I can throw anything.
What do we focus on?
Focus on fit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me tell y'all just my evolution with fashion, if you will. I'm not as fashionable as y'all. I'll get there. But,
come on, stop.
I love what y'all see on Instagram. But, you know, I grew up in the South, and I grew up in that Cash Money No Limit
Come
era.
on, man.
So we were wearing everything baggy.
For the 99 2000.
Imagine me wearing, I was buying 3X and 2X
Yeah.
T-shirts, man.
So the
long,
block was
tall
hot, basically,
jeans,
is what you're saying.
Yeah, man.
baggage of bowls.
We all
like
did
this
it.
Stuff. And then when I went to DC for the first time, I started seeing dudes with the European cut.
Mm-hmm.
And so since I'm a competitor, I was like, all right, bro, I ain't finna be walking in too many more rooms, and I'm not the best dressed.
Absolutely.
So I was like, all right, I'm finna adapt. So I went to this one tailor named Sammy Lee, a historic cat in DC. He chopped up a blazer for me for like $300. I was like, all right, I gotta find something cheaper. But I was like, I started doing some research while I was at work, and I found out what European cut was, what the different breaks were. I learned those different things, and then I began to embrace the fitted suits. Now a lot of cats are like, man, you look gay, bro. And I was like, all right, I look better than you. That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
yeah.
And it worked out.
right.
Now you see more cats embracing that type of style now.
Yeah.
But my thing, to your point, was I just like to throw stuff together.
Absolutely,
and
man.
it works.
Absolutely. You know, another thing that works as it relates to shading, right before we get out of here, is you want to pick a dominant color, right, and accent it with subordinate shades, right? So you want to pick like a navy, like let's say you're doing blue, right? You want to pick like a navy, but then you accent it with a lighter blue or a stone blue or a
that looks good on suits too.
or a periwinkle,
Exactly.
Because if you look at the picture that's on right now, the brother has on a navy, it's close to navy, a dark blue suit, or jacket rather, but then he has contrasting blues, right? And so the eye is really drawn to the darker,
And you can
shade.
even do that with blue jeans.
Absolutely. When you rock double down,
those slacks are great. First of all, that whole fit, I love it.
Yeah.
But first of all, you
Nice.
can't go wrong with a navy jacket.
No.
You
Yeah,
can pretty much do. You can throw a hoodie in there, like we were talking about earlier.
Turtleneck.
You can
V-neck,
turtleneck,
scoop neck,
a burgundy turtleneck,
Yeah.
a white turtleneck.
Doesn't matter
You
the
can pretty
color.
much do anything. But I love what you were saying about. Sometimes I love to wear like a nice tailored navy suit,
Right.
and I'll throw on like
Yeah.
a nice light blue shirt to go on there with it.
yeah.
I mean,
Easy.
it's
Easy.
classic. It's simple, but it's
what
very
brings that out?
intelligent. You're shading very intelligently.
Absolutely.
Your P square is gonna bring that out.
Absolutely.
Your P square. You go a light
And your
blue,
shoes.
You go a navy. Yeah. What, y'all wearing monk straps?
Yeah, I love mine. I
what-
got like 4 or 5 pair. Absolutely. And then lastly, you want to shade with pattern accents on solids, right? And what do I mean by that? I mean that the basic, and this is where you can talk about the pocket square, the basic and the foundation of,
like what he has today.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have on this hunter green jacket, but then the green of the pocket square is patterned but
with
lighter.
a hint, not
Right.
too
Yeah.
much. But a
Smidgen.
hint. Yes. Yes.
And so again, think about, everybody isn't ball. Everybody isn't Diddy and can afford to give away $200,000. Everybody isn't Dame and on these lists. With
Stop.
international
Stop.
folks
Stop.
going around the country.
That guy's
styling. Going around the country, speaking to people and getting these great honorarium checks. And so you got to work with what you work with. What's in your closet? What's in your closet? And one way to do that is shade. Is to practice on shading, man.
Right.
Just practice on shading.
Listen, no, I'm gonna tell you one of the things. Like, what was that? Burlington's. We gotta stop. We gotta another part of gentlemen's. We gotta stop these cats from buying these box sets of shirts.
Oh my
ties
God.
Listen,
that comes with the
listen.
P-square.
The-
Like, that
the-
stuff is
So played out.
First of
Yeah,
all,
it's like Jiffy cornbread.
the
saying?
the K&G starter pack.
Absolutely.
The K&G starter pack.
Back when it was
Steve
TNC
Harvey.
yeah, Center.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
I mean, you're right, man.
Them
You're
cats
right.
bust those out for Easter. I'm like, oh, come on, bro.
Right, have on the navy blue suit
Yeah,
with the
right.
navy blue and the gray paisley
Right.
matching tie. Like, I hate when people match. I cannot stand this. Is another show, but I cannot stand when people's ties match their pocket square.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
so
For sure.
it's too much.
I'd rather you not wear a pocket square if you're
Yes,
tied in
and
pocket square.
if you don't
Match.
if you think you can't contrast them, what you can always do, and this is a style tip, is a straight fold white.
Right. Oh, white is always
straightforward white.
I'll wear some paper out of the printer real quick.
Absolutely. I've done napkins.
Just throw it in there.
I've done napkins
You can
from the
always-
bathroom.
Now I've definitely done the little white napkins.
Yeah, from the
back.
like crap. I
Right,
forgot
no,
my pockets. Well, let me go get in the bathroom and
it
get a
gives you
napkin.
just a little flavor with class.
But still classy, still
Right.
conservative enough to remain conservative and not look too out of the box, depending upon
Right.
your colleagues. Because some people have some people have a strict policy with that. You know, speaking of policy, we have obliterated today's the policy going
but
over our show.
It gets like that, man.
better.
Number one, man, there was a shift that happened today. I don't think you guys understand, but there were some amazing nuggets that my man
Absolutely.
was dropping today, outside of just style and fashion, that I feel like all of us can take heed
Agreed.
to.
Absolutely.
And I knew today was going to have some sort of a shift to it. I felt it when I walked in the room. But on top of that, not only the things that we were talking about here, but I think just, you know, I love your vision behind this show, Kalen, because I think what we're talking about, being a gentleman and what that entails, but what this really is this is a blueprint for culture, for men in culture, that supersedes just what you wear.
Absolutely.
And it's more or less dealing with the man behind the clothes and the style. And so I just, again, I have to shout out to you, man, for just the vision of this and all the work that you put into this that people don't see, man.
Man, I appreciate it, man. You know, Dame, any last words?
Thank you for your leadership, man.
How you give me your tagline?
My last words are thank you both for your leadership, for what we both are doing in the community, creating a voice, a platform here to talk about culture and to teach guys how to be gentlemen. Where else will we get this type of information?
I've never seen a show like this before.
Right, so I think this is incredible. You know, I have one guy tuned on my IG Live right now, Richard, who's like one of the greatest gentlemen, dresses well, who's at Yale Divinity, but like, and he taught me some stuff, but everybody didn't get this type of information, so I appreciate y'all. Yeah. But last words, as I tell folk all the time, just, you know, wake up every day and fight, inspire others, serve others. You can find me at DameThad.com. You can find me on Instagram, what's on the screen at DameThad. I'd be happy to come to speak to your group of young people, your civic group, your conference, or what have you, and talk about inspiration, talk about leadership, talk about purpose, talk about passion. I'm just blessed to be here and continue the great work, fellas.
Listen, thank you so much, Dame. Thank you so much. Listen,
has anybody ever told you look like Chance the Rapper?
I get it all the time.
Okay,
Chance the Rapper
looks like him because he's older.
Chance the Rapper, T.O., man, John Jones from UFC.
John Jones.
I've gotten it all,
you
man.
You do favor John
Chance
Jones.
the Rapper,
no, it's Chance.
Because I was looking at his IG, man. He got some Chance photos on there.
Well, listen, B, guess what, man? Dame, raise your glass. B, yeah. You can keep it gangster or you can keep it gentlemanly, but always keep it G.
There you go.
To the next time.
There you go.
You finally got it right.
That's why I said it so. That's why I said it with so much authority.
Appreciate y'all.